Hello and welcome to my channel, Distinctive Crochet. My name is Priscilla and I would like to thank all my new subscribers for coming to check me out and all my returning subscribers for spending some time with me. Alright everyone, it is Monday, so it's time to work your whips Monday. And last week you were going to choose between charity hats and a new whip for me, and it was very close, but you all chose the new whip. Now I did have something else in mind when I actually had decided that last week, but since then I came up with a new idea and I really think you guys are gonna like this. um, but I will definitely have that other new whip back on for the options later on, okay? So I hope you guys aren't mad about that, but I mean, you didn't know what the whip was going to be anyway, right? But okay, here we go. So I was participating in a monthly challenge from Terry over at Nana's Crochet Ideas and Lottie from Enjoying the Journey, Cancer as a Lifestyle, and their monthly challenge was to make a pair of socks. So this year I have really been on sock heavy on my makes, and that is because I was developing new patterns for them, and so I had to work up a lot of pairs. Even if you didn't see them all, I was making them and even gifting some, and so socks have been a big part of my makes this year. And of course I had to make another pair for the challenge, right? So I started off making a knit pair because I am working on another new knit pattern for socks. So keep an eye out for that. And matter of fact, while I'm saying that, I think I need at least one more tester. So if you're interested in testing my knit sock pattern, go ahead and send me an email, and as soon as I have it written up, I will get that over to you. I do have most of it done. I just have one section that I'm reworking, and I need to sit in front of the computer where I can type it up and make sure it's going along just the right way. So yes, if you are interested in testing my knit pattern for a pair of socks, go ahead and send me an email. My email is in the description box below. Okay, sorry about the sidebar, but anyway. So since I was still working out a few things on that, I needed to go ahead and get a pair done. So I was watching Lottie, and she had just finished her pair of socks for the challenge, and she was saying how she didn't see many options for top-down socks. Me, as getting my background for sock making from knitting, I like a toe-up sock better than a top-down. I did the first pair I made was a top-down. That was long time ago, and I didn't really. The next pair I made was a toe up, and between the two, I had a better experience with the toe up. So, but I didn't. I had never tried a top down in crochet. Actually, I did, but I think they were a baby pair of socks. Yes, I had made some crochet baby socks, and they were top down, but I hadn't done like a pair for my size. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and try it out and see what I can come up with. So I did. I came up, like, it was all in the same day where was thinking of the idea, and I grabbed my yarn and hook and I started working it up, and then all of a sudden, bam, I had a sock done. I was like, wow, that worked up so quick. So I even had time to work up the second sock, but I wasn't able to finish it all in that same day. I think I had to work the toe the next day. But yes, that's how fast they work up. You can make a pair in a day if you have I would say max maybe 4 hours, depending. But yeah, they work up very weird. But so you could definitely get them started right now during this Work Your Whips Monday, right? Because that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on this new whip with you guys. So hopefully you will enjoy this top down crochet sock pattern that I had came up with. It's very quick, very easy. This is the mock heel that I put in. So it's all worked in one. You don't have to break your yarn. You don't have to do um, any difficult things. It's very, very easy, very, very quick. Okay, so you want to stay and watch this video so you can get an idea of how they are worked up, and then either you may have time to work with me right now, or if you need to come back to the video, then that way you know exactly what to do, and then you can work up a pair of socks with me. All right, so shall we get started? Well, anyway, the first thing, let me just mention really quickly how I did these. So the first thing I did, as I stated before, they are top down. So the first thing I did was I worked the cuff. And then there is just a little bit, a section here for the, like where your ankle area is, or like a leg, like the leg area. I guess they would call it in the sock. And then you come down here to the mock heel, and then you're working the top of the foot and the heel at the same time. And then you're just working the rounds for the foot to continue on, and then the toe. Okay, so that is the construction of the sock. Now, the yarn that I use for that pair is called Burnett. Oops, it's called Burnett Socks, and I believe this is discontinued, but this is the new newsprint colorway, and it's a #1 super fine. They are suggesting a 3.25 millimeter hook, and I was able to get the pair of these out of one and this little bit, so I used a little bit out of this. Now they say that you should use a 3.25, and that is the size hook that I use, but these are not very close stitched, if that makes sense. They are kind of they're not as tight stitched as I think the other pair of crochet socks that I had made, because I am using a bigger hook than what I used before. So the pattern is okay to work whatever yarn and hook that you prefer for your pair of socks, because I am giving you measurements as opposed to number of stitches. So when we get started, I'll go more into detail about that, but just know that it doesn't matter if you have this kind of yarn or any other kind of yarn. Even if you want just to practice and make slipper socks using a 4-weight yarn and a hook that you're comfortable with, if that's what you're used to using, you could do that. If this is like your very first pair and you're like, oh, I don't want to use a small yarn and hook, grab your 4-weight yarn, grab your 5 millimeter hook or whatever you're comfortable with, and try it like that. Okay, so that is what is also good about this is that you'll be able to use any yarn and any hook to work up a pair of these. All right, so yes, I think that is all that I wanted to say. For this particular one, I am not going to use the colored one so you guys can see maybe the stitching a little bit better. And the yarn that I'm using is the color Ideal in the color Neon Watermelon. So this is a Yarn B yarn that I got last year from the Hobby Lobby clearance sale. It is a 50% merino wool, 30% nylon, 20% acrylic. And yes. So I think, let me see, I think this yarn was 100% acrylic. Oh no, this is 60% acrylic, 60% nylon. So those are the yarns that I'm using. But like I said, no matter what yarn you have, it'll work out. Just try it and get a little practice in with your sock making, right? Because once you have a pair of handmade socks, whether they're crochet or knit, you'll love them and you won't want to go back to store-bought. So a quick pair of socks is something that is definitely going to be good to have in your toolbox. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and put these away, and then we'll get started on the pattern. Okay, and I did type up some notes, so I might be reading the instructions to you guys just because I don't want to miss anything, and I want you guys to have the best information possible so that you can come out with a great pair of socks that fit. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is start with the cuff. All right, so if you don't know your foot measurement, then the circumference of your foot, then this is a great time to go ahead and grab your soft tape measure and measure the circumference around your foot, around the widest part. So that's like right right behind your toes at the widest part of your foot. So for me, I consider myself like a medium-sized foot, and my circumference is 9 inches. All right, so if you're a small size, you might be an 8-inch, and if you're a large size, it might be 10 inches. Okay, if you're not sure, if you don't have a tape measure. So for me, for a medium size, or actually for everybody's foot, after you get your measurement, what you want to do is you want to work a foundation double crochet 1 inch less than the circumference of your foot. So for example, mine is 9 inches, so I want to make a foundation double crochet that is 8 inches. All right, and that is because when you put on the sock, you do want a nice snug fit, and the 1 inch less than your foot will give you that snug fit like a sock should be. All right, so yes, that is the first thing you need to do. Measure your foot, get that circumference, and start working your foundation double crochet 1 inch less than that. Now if you're not sure how to do a foundation double crochet, I will link a tutorial down below to show you how to get started with that. And you can go ahead and pause this video here, check out that video, and then come back when you have your foundation crochet made 1 inch less than the circumference of your foot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and work up mine until it measures 8 inches, and then I will be back to show you guys what to do next. All right, everyone, here we go. It's Socktober. Let's get these socks going. Okay. All right, everyone, and I made it back. So I have my 8 inches of foundation double crochets. Now what you want to do is when you get to the length that you need, you want to make sure you have an even number of stitches, because we're going to divide them into the top and bottom stitches, and we want to make sure we have an even number so that we can do that. I have 40 stitches in mine, but depending on what yarn and hook you're using, also your tension, that could be a different number for you, but I am working the medium size. And so if you are doing, if your foot is a medium-sized foot and you want to use my numbers, I did make 40 foundation double crochets. Okay, so make sure you have an even number. And the next thing we want to do is we are going to work in the round, but we're going to be doing continuous rounds, so we're not joining our work. How this is going to come together is we are going to work a front post around the very first stitch. So I'm going to do that. Work a front post around the very first stitch. Front post double crochet. Alright, and then I'm going to take a stitch marker and then I'm going to mark that stitch. Oops. Okay, so I have my first stitch marked. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to alternate the front post. So we just did a front post. So the next one we're going to do is a back post. And we're going to continue on with the front post, back post, ribbing for 2 inches. Okay, and when you get to the beginning stitch, you're not going to want to join. You're just going to keep working in continuous rounds. Okay, and so the stitches will maintain that rib pattern. So from the row below, if you already did a front post around that stitch will continue to get the front post, and so on. Okay, so we're just working front post, back post, stitch, ribbing for 2 inches to make the cuff of our sock. All right, so that is the next thing that we're going to be working on. So go ahead and do that step for yours and meet me back when you have your 2 inches. All right, here we go. All right, everyone, and I made it back. So I have my 2 inches of ribbing of the front post, back post stitches. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start working the leg portion. It's just going to be an inch of half double crochets all the way around. We're still working in continuous rounds, so don't worry about slip stitching the joint or anything like that. Just work in continuous rounds. And we're going to be doing, instead of the front post, back post, we're going to be doing half double crochets. Okay, and we're going to do that for 1 inch. On your last round, from your first stitch, you need to count half the number of stitches. So whatever your number is, for example, my number is 40 stitches. So half for me would be 20. So on the last round, when I get to that 20th stitch, I'm going to want to put another stitch marker in there. So I'll have my first stitch mark and my 20. Well, it'll be like 20, stitch number 21. And so that way I have 20 stitches on that side and 20 stitches on that side. But you want to mark the stitch so that you have exactly half of your stitches marked, is what I'm trying to say. So I have stitch 1 marked, and then I'll mark stitch number 21, and that will be half and half, so that I have a bottom half and a top half. Okay, that is the main goal of what we're trying to do here. All right, so whatever that number is for you, make sure you mark that on the last round of your half double crochets, and just keep working in continuous round for 1 inch. And this time we're doing half double crochets instead of double crochets. All right, so go ahead and get started with that, and I will meet you back when I have mine. All right, here we get it back. So I have the 1 inch of my half double crochets all finished now, and I have my first stitch marked and my halfway stitches marked. So what we're going to do now is we're going to begin working the heel portion. And so the first half of our stitches are going to be the bottom, and which is the heel part, and the second part of our stitches is going to be the top part. Okay, and that's important, and that's why we have our stitch markers, because we're going to be doing 2 different things at the same time, just working in a round. We're going to have 2 sets of directions, which is why we have these marked. Okay, so make sure you have those stitches marked. It's very important so you don't lose where you are, and that way it makes it easier for you to say, okay, I'm at this point, so now I need to do this stitch. Okay, so I have those marked at the very first stitch of the round, and now I have the first stitch of the round beginning on the side instead of the center back. So if you have yours at the center back, make sure you move it to the side, and then the second half, mark will be on the other side as well. All right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you on this here. All right, so we already did the ribbing. We have the 1 inch of the leg portion, and now we're working the heel. So as you can see that these stitches come down and cover the heel portion. So this is what we're going to be doing here. All right, so the first half of our stitches is going to be worked in a front post double crochet. It's all front post, so you don't alternate. We're not doing ribbing here. We're just working all front post stitches. Okay, and then the second half, so once you get to the other stitch marker, you're going to stop doing the front post double crochets, and then you're going to go on to half double crochets. So you can see this portion here is the half double crochets. All right, and it goes around like that. So yes, this is half doubles. So that's what we're going to be doing. So the first half is your front post double crochets, which is going to represent the bottom and the heel of your foot, and the top half is going to be just half double crochets. All right, so front post double crochets on the bottom, and the top is half double crochets, and our stitch markers let us know which one is which. So the first half of your stitches are the bottom, the second half of your stitches are the top. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're working along, and we're going to keep doing that until let me put it like this where it's more flat, until the post stitches cover the bottom of your heel. So you need to try this on to see where you're at and make sure that you have enough stitches so that they cover that particular area. Okay, so that is how we're going to find out when we need to stop working that pattern. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and continue on. So once again, from the first stitch marker, the first half of the stitches are front post double crochets, and from the second stitch marker, the second half of the stitches are half double crochets. So keep working that until it covers your heel. How do you know? You have to try it on. And that's the fun part, right? All right, so I'm going to keep working on mine, and I'll try it on when I think I'm about there, and see if I need to continue or not. But once I have that done, I'll come back and show you what to do next. All right, everyone, here we go. All right, everyone, and I made it back. So this is covering the I tried it on, and it's covering my heel. So on the last 2 rounds of this, instead of doing double crochets on the first 20 stitches, or I'm sorry, that's my number. On the first half of your stitches, instead of doing front post double crochets, we're going to do front post treble crochets. So the only difference is you yarn over twice before you do the front post stitch. Okay, so you yarn over twice, and then you finish off the front post stitch by pulling through 2 each time until you have all the loops off of your hook. Okay, so you're going to do 2 rounds of that. You're going to do the first half is the front post treble crochet. The second half is still going to maintain the half double crochets, and then that should even that out a little bit. And when it's on your foot, right now it doesn't look like it's off by too much, but when it's on your foot, it's a little bit off. So by doing that longer stitch, the last 2 rounds, that'll help to even out that for when we get ready to work the foot of the sock. All right, so go ahead and do those 2 rounds, and I will meet you right back when I have mine. All right, here we go. All right, everyone, and I made it back. So I did those 2 rounds of the treble crochet, and it does seem to be off here, but when you actually try it on, it should fit evenly around your foot. And so that is because we didn't do an actual heel. This is a mock heel, so that's why we have to do that. But it's very quick and easy, right? So no big deal about that. So now we're just going to be working the foot part of the sock. Let me show you. So we just did the heel part, and now we're just going to be doing the foot. So all the way, all in continuous rounds, we're just going to be doing half double crochets in each stitch, and you're going to do that until you get to right before where your toes, so right where your toes are growing out of your foot. Right there is where you want to stop the foot portion, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the toe and decreases for that, and also how to close up the toe. All right, so that is pretty much all we have left to do. So we are getting it done, right, everyone? Very quick, very easy, and it was fun trying it on, wasn't it? You didn't want to take it off, did you? All right, so now that we are on the foot, we are almost done. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my continuous rounds until I reach the beginning part of my toes, and then I will stop there and come back and show you how to do the decreases. All right, here we go. All right, everyone, and I have made it to the where my toe is starting to start right here. So these will be my toes, and this is like the line where my toes are starting. So I made it to here, and now I'm ready to do the decreases for the toe. All right, so if you have not been moving up your stitch markers, but yes, at this point we do need our stitch markers to be in the same position they were, as far as halfway of where your stitches are, because we are going to do some decreases based on where those are stitch markers are located. All right, so I did not but I pretty much know where to put mine at. However, you might need to move yours up. So hopefully I will have put that on the screen for you guys, because I don't believe I mentioned it earlier. All right, so I am going to, I found my first stitch here, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that stitch. Whoops. All right, so I kept the white with my first stitch, And now I'm going to count over half of my stitches. So for me that's 20. All right. All right, and I found my halfway point there. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, so I have my stitches marked once again. Now what we're going to be doing is 2 stitches before our stitch marker. We're going to do a half double crochet, 2 together. So you're just decreasing 2 stitches to make 1 stitch. So you're going to do a decrease before the stitch marker, and then you're going to work a regular half double crochet in the marked stitch, and then you're going to do a decrease after the stitch marker. Okay, and you're going to do that for both. So 1 decrease before the stitch marker, a regular stitch in the marked stitch, and then a decrease after the stitch marker, and then you're going to do the same thing for the other marked stitch. Okay, a decrease before the marker, a half double in the marked stitch, and then a decrease after the marked stitch. All right, so you're gonna continue on to do that until you're almost closed up at your, like, to almost your whole toe is completely covered. I'm not for sure how many stitches that is going to leave you, but let me show you. So for example, this is how my toe is looking here after I did decreases. All right, so I did, let's see, okay. So you can see they're going in like that, and then um, you just have a few stitches left to close it up, okay? And then I'll show you how I close mine up, or I'll just let you know how I close mine up when we get there. But depending on how many stitches you started with and all of that, it could be a different number for what you finish with, okay? But you just pretty much want to make sure you cover those toes and do your decreases. Now I did do decreases every round. If you feel like you're as you're working up, uh, it's decreasing too fast and you're not for sure if you're gonna cover your toe before you run out of stitches, you can always do a plain round in between. Um, but for me, it worked out to do a decrease every stitch. So you're more than welcome to do all the decreases, and then if you feel like you don't want to decrease anymore, like you can try it on and see what it looks like. You can just work the plain rounds until your foot is covered, and then we'll close the toe. Okay, so however you want to do that, but I am going to do decreases every round for me because that worked out for this sock here, and so that is what I'm going to do for this one. So I'll go over that again. So right now, actually, I'm going to do that because this is the last round that I did to get to that point where my where my toes are starting. So that is that last round. So I'm going to pull out those 2 stitches before, and then I'm going to do my first decrease here. So I'm just going to yarn over as to do a half double, insert my hook and pull up a loop, and I'm going to yarn over and then go right into the next stitch and then pull up a loop, and now I'm going to yarn over and pull through all those loops. So that's how I do a half double 2 together, okay, or a half double decrease. All right, so now in the marked stitch, I'm just going to go ahead and work a half double crochet in there, and then you want to move up your marker so that you know where it is on the next round. So just move up your marker like that, and then over the next 2 stitches we're going to work a decrease. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and then go right into the next stitch without finishing, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all loops. All right, so you just decreased um, the stitch before and the stitch after. All right, and then you're just going to continue on with your half double crochets until you get to your next marked stitch, and then, or 2 stitches before your next marked stitch, because you want to decrease and then you work a regular half double in the marked stitch. You'll move the marker up and then work a decrease right after the marker. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue working on mine, and that is how you need to finish up yours. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you back to show you how to close the toe. Very exciting, everyone. We are almost done, and it didn't take very long at all, did it? All right, I'll meet you right back. Alright everyone, and I made it back. So I did my decreases in the toe, and what I'm going to do now is, okay, well first of all let me tell you where I stopped at. So I actually stopped on the second stitch marker. So remember the white one was where my round started, but I had did a decrease before there, then I did a regular stitch and a decrease. So when I came to the other stitch marker, I did the decrease before the stitch in the stitch marker and then a decrease after. So I didn't want to come back around because then I would be doing, you know, another decrease. So I just wanted to finish there, and then to actually close it up, all I'm going to do is just grab you could do it however you want. You could just finish off and sew it closed, or you could do a slip stitch closed, a single crochet, however you want. But I'm going to do mine with a half double crochet, and so I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to match the stitches up, and then I'm just going to pick up one loop from one side of the stitch, and this is the front loop, and then I'm going to pick up um, the back loop of the other side. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through to finish it off. So that is how I'm closing it. So I'm just working a half double crochet through one loop on each side of the stitch on the top part and on the bottom part. And then I'm going to finish off my half double crochet. And then they are going to be close like that. But again, you can close that however you like. And I'm just going to continue this. I only have a couple more stitches to go, so we can finish this off together. And we have one more to go. Yay! Alright, so now all I have to do is go ahead and cut that, which I don't have my scissors right near me, so oh yes I do here some. Alright, so leave a nice tail so you can weave that in and then pull it through to finish off. And then there is your sock. So that was super quick and easy. I got that sock done. It's all out of shape because I was trying it on. Let me put it on this sock blocker so you guys can see. Alright, so there we have it. It's awesome. It's super cute, super quick, super easy. What's not to like, right? We got our sock done in the session. Now this did take me about 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours because I was um, you know, stopping and giving instructions during along the way. But if once you have this pattern down, it'll work up so fast. Um, between 3 to 4 hours, you should be able to get a full pair done and complete. So once you have your first pair out of the way, you'll have a sock drawer full in no time. All right, so please let me know what you think of my socks. Let me know if you are working a pair up for yourself or if you are going to come back to the video and work up a pair, and maybe even some for your family and friends, because I'm sure they would appreciate it very, very much. And it's quick enough, right, guys? All right, so let me know all of that good stuff in the comments down below. Also, I guess I'm going to do the same options. So option number 1 will be a new whip. And unless I get another inspiration, it'll be the one that I was thinking about from last week. Option 2 will be charity hats. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this Socktober sock celebration quick tutorial. And yes, let me know all of that good stuff down below. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.